Okay, so today I want to do something a little different. Normally you see me and talking to you guys and just going over a bunch of different things that I think need to be shared with the world, improving ourselves, thinking more of ourselves, creating lives that we really wanted to live. And one of the things that I do and I've done for a while is create artwork. Different kinds, all different kinds. Journals, paintings, watercolor, acrylics, oils. All I've just played and experimented with a bunch of different mediums and different styles. I went onto my old YouTube, a lot of videos that I've done in the past, and I was going to show you some of the things like my processes of going through these things, and the video quality is just horrific. A lot of them were from Periscope. I don't know if anybody remembers Periscope, but it was this thing back in the day. But I've been doing videos since like, I don't know, 2014, 2015. And some of these videos, of course, like the video quality just really sucked. So because at that time I had a studio area in our basement at that house, I had this great space. Right now, the house that we're in, one of our rental houses that we're working on fixing, I have like zero space. In another video, I'll show you the space that I'm working in, but right now it's extremely limited compared to what I had. So I have to put a lot of my artwork away and a lot of my supplies away. They're packed in crates and boxes in one of the other rooms. I don't know where they are. I can't find them. They're buried under other furniture from other houses. I think I've talked to you before about we have like 3 different houses of furniture in this house just because of circumstances that have happened. But I wanted to show you some of the things that I have created that I have access to, because I want you to know that where you are in your journey, whether it's a creative journey or it's a life journey, it's building a business, it's creating the life that you want to create, whatever it may be, you're going to have, for there no other name, is that ugly adolescent age. Now, some of us are pretty when we're adolescents, not all of us. Some of us have braces and glasses and look like complete geeks, but hey, that's just some of us. There's a story behind every single one of us. The beauty in that is if you have a way to look back and the wherewithal to look back and see where you've grown and where you've changed and where things have progressed and moved forward, you have a great ability to be able to rewrite your story, to change the way that you view the things in the past that may have defined who you are now and view them in a light that's positive or light that's negative. That said, I wanted to show you some of the projects that I've worked on in the past. And some of these are from years ago, like so long ago that this is my previous married name, and just show you how you can create things, creative things, have fun, and not allow what somebody else's definition of who you should be or what you should be doing. Don't allow it to define you. Do things the way that make you happy, that bring you joy. So this journal is a blank journal that I created myself a long time ago for thoughts and ideas. And I just put some basic outlines and pages and stuff like that that I could write in. And I have not gotten around to using it yet because anytime I go to use it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to put something ridiculous in here that I'm going to regret later. It's gone from a blank journal that I don't know what to put in to a journal that I have things in that I don't know what to put in. So I've decorated some of the pages because I'm like, okay, I'm going to put something in here, but now what do I put in here once this is done? So I was watching an artist online and I completely blanked on her name. And she was talking about mixed media journals. I was like, oh my gosh, I have a bunch of those. And I wanted to share them with you and talk about the creative process and talk about the creative process, not only in art, but in your life. I mean, a lot of what I talk about on my YouTube channel here is being truthful with yourself and knowing that you can change and what you can do to improve your life and to become the person that you want to be, not allowing life's difficulties to define you, but you to use those to move forward. And creating a life that you really want to live. So there's a lot of just simple things in here. Obviously, you can tell I love collecting leaves and putting them in my journal. But this is just a basic book that I bought at the store and I just stuck papers in here, painted the pages, put some background on here just so that I could have something to start with. And this has been packed away for a long time, at least 10 years more. And I've got a couple others that I want to show you. I've even got some blank pages at the back. Isn't that interesting? And I've got some other things that I want to do with the cover because for me, the cover is great, but it's very bland. But anyway, so that's one. So this journal is another one that I added creative pieces to and elements to. Again, this is another book that I created a while ago and have not completely finished using because I keep thinking of, oh, I want to do this thing into it and, add this to it, write particular things in there, and then I don't want to mess it up. I like the way that it is now. And so I go back and forth about whether I want to add more to it. But I've written some things that are important. Ways to stay young. This is from that book of the people in Okinawa, the centurions in Okinawa, and what they do as far as like being able to live for so long. Drink a glass of red wine, eat foods high in omega fatties. All these things. Don't smoke. Share work burden with your spouse. Put family first. Be active. Be socially engaged. Keep lifelong friends. These things that are important in having a meaningful life. So I cut pages out and put 2 pages glued together with an envelope in the middle for me to have ephemera, which, I don't have in here right now. Be fearless. So this book is one that I took a lot to. This is a book that I read, The Red Tent by Anita Diamante. I've read this book like 3 or 4 times. It's a great book. And so inside the red tent, even the oldest of us, she said, shaking a bony finger at me, even we crones can pick up new tricks here and there. It's a great book. But just adding things that are important to me. And like I said, I still have blank pages of things that I can add. And there's no particular. So I've got a funny story I'm going to get to in just a second here with this book. And these are from my mom's cockatoo. So just creating a journal like these I stitched in here, just punched holes and then stitched this little ribbon in. Did I have that twice? That's interesting. I did not even notice that. Where'd it go? I did. Look at that. I just realized that. Interesting. What excites me? All kinds of great things. So, like I was saying, with this book, I took this book when I was working on it on an airplane in my not my carry-on bag, but the bag that they put underneath. And when I got my bag back, it was opened and it had been rummaged through. And this is metal, this page right here. It's a piece of brass with aluminum around the outside and then some copper tabs. And then you saw the front has these little twirly bits. This is copper wound around like a toothpick. Well, when I had gotten on the flight and this bag ended up in, baggage, it went through the scanner, the x-ray machine, and they saw this and didn't know what it was. So it's a box looking like thing because it's the metal, this metal gets picked up with all these little twirly things. Guess what they thought it was? Yeah, one of those. So they broke into my bag, rummaged through my bag, found my journal, and we're like, opened it up and we're, I guess it's not what we thought it was. But when I got my bag, I went to the ticket counter. I'm like, what happened with my bag? And they explained what happened. I was like laughing because obviously it's not what they thought it was. But anyway, so I've got a bunch of other pages back here that I still need to do things with that I can journal. There's another page that I can. And what's really cool is that you can write on this with a blunt pencil and it kind of looks embossed. So that was my intention with that. But, so there's that journal. Now I've got a couple others that I want to show you. Now these are beefy babies. So again, like I said, I had this studio in our old house and I love taking like cereal boxes and using the cereal box, the box and using it to create a cover. So what I did is this is a cereal box, like a Kellogg's cereal box or whatever, Post or whoever that the kids had, and I cut off the end and I cut off the tabs and then I covered it with this leather that I had picked up. So Tandy Leather Company is an online leather company and I had always wanted to order leather from them. And when I moved here to Georgia, Roy and I were driving around one day for work and I saw the Tandy Leather store in one of the shopping centers and I about had a heart attack. So made Roy pull over and we picked up a bunch of like scrap, what they considered scrap leather that they were just getting rid of. And we picked up a bunch of it because we figured, okay, we can use it for Boy Scouts projects at that time. And then also I'm like, I got to use it. I can use it for something. So I covered the journal, I punched holes and stitched it up, covered the inside with craft paper just to give it some more bulk, and then hand stitched all the cover all over it. And look, I forgot that this was here because it's this last stitching here is not glued down. I did not ever finish that. So this is stitched and stitched and stitched. And here's a pocket here. So there's a pocket there. And then I'm still not, now this is again, several years old. And I want to have a clasp here, but I don't want to do the clasp until I finish filling it in because I have a feeling that this thing is going to bulk up even more than it already is because it's pretty bulky. So what I did then is I created a bunch of signatures. So if you look on the end here, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 signatures. A lot of signatures in here. Now, the pages have some things on them, but they don't have a lot. This is actually my book of shadows and my, I don't know, I put all kinds of different stuff in here. So it's not really just a book of shadows. It's a lot of stuff. It's not just that. But I mean, I have different pieces of ephemera in here from different projects, different places that we've gone to and done. I have a lot of blank pages. So this paper is just heavy duty, not watercolor paper because it's too smooth, but like not sketch paper either because it's heavier duty, like maybe a lightweight mixed media because I like to put dried flowers in here. Obviously a lot of dry flowers. This is for my tarot decks, which I have a lot of, and I have not even started to fill that in. This is even lighter weight paper. So this is like sketch paper in this section. This section is my section for spirit guides. Again, I've not filled any of this in because I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. This is just regular kids construction paper, different. So each signature is different. Each signature that I created, I added different things. This is paper that I had, it's actually like paper towel that you get in, I had a pack of it from like the paper that you get at like restaurants and stuff that you dry your hands on. Somehow I don't remember how, but I got a pack of it and I colored it with different inks and stuff. So I have a bunch of that in here. This is from my shampoo bars, and that's what that is. More leaves. And these are pages that I had used for, like, this is when I was painting. I would put this down and then the edges that I painted would end up on here. So this, and then I just painted it over with the whole thing with it blue. But it's basically a scrap piece of paper from artwork that I had painted on top. Like I had a sheet on top of here, and then this is the edges. And I just used it to do my binder cover. This is for my oracle decks. This is for my charms and bones, the meanings and all that kind of good stuff. Now, one thing and part of the reason why I really haven't done too much in here is, oops, I'm making a mess of my little bitty desk, is I'm trying to figure out the best way for me to do this. My desk is so little now that I can't do anything, and I can't lay this flat. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. I wish I hadn't stitched the signatures in here before filling them in and doing stuff, or figured out another way to do that. So I'm going to show you my next journal here, and it's a bit different, and it was like this growing, this evolution, the next evolution. I'll explain to you in just a second. So that's that section. And then I have more different types of paper in the signature. So construction paper, craft paper, art paper, sketch paper, watercolor paper, just all different kinds, and each signature is a little bit different. And then again, so you can see where I had a piece of artwork in the middle and I went off the edges and painted onto this board. And then this was a big sheet, like a 4x5 sheet, and I cut it up into pieces to use for my sketch. And this is the same thing. So you can see where it's, been colored. Like I had different smaller projects that I were painting on here and ran off the edge to protect my table. So that's what I did with that. And then this one was more creative, but again, that's blank. So I don't have anything in that. Then this is just different kinds of paper. So each signature is different, and I can incorporate different things into them. The Unexpected Gypsy, I think is what it is. And here's my plant, herbs, and flowers section. And don't pay attention here. I can't spell. It's flowers. Yeah. An E is supposed to be in there. But you know what I think is interesting is that you can take all the vowels out of a word and your brain still knows what that word is. So I'm leaving it like this. It's my book. I can do what I want. More flowers. I think that was flowers that I got from Roy, because I love him and he loves me. Anyway, so I have all different kinds of signatures in here. Keep calm and no drama. So the front half has specific sections that I want to fill in with particular things. And then the back half is just open to whatever I want to do. And then I've got extra ephemera and tools in the back. So that's that book. It is a beast. The next one I want to show you, put this off to the side. Put that off. Put that off to the side, is this one. This is, I think this is my favorite one by far. So again, this is, I don't know if it's a cereal box or what kind of box it is. I don't remember, but it's a cardboard box essentially that, you know, more than likely it's some kind of cereal or like actually what I think it might be is like a Stouffer's pizza box with the big pizzas. But again, I covered it with leather. Actually, what I did is I covered it with the craft paper to, again, make it more solid, because that cardboard is stiff, but it's not that stiff. And then this, you can see, this is pretty hefty. It doesn't really bend. And then, so then I covered it with the leather. Again, the leather that we got from Tandy Leather Store for these, all these pieces were scraps that they cut away. So this cut section here is the edge of what they cut. And I just stitched and I glued. And this you're going to understand in just a minute. So once we get inside, I stitched these beads on here and again, stitched the back. So this one doesn't have any pockets, which after I thought about it, I probably would have wanted, but see, this piece only goes to black, only goes to like here. And you can see there's like a lump there. And then I added these buttons so that I could close this. And it has a little bit of play because this one's also going to be stuffed full of stuff. The thing that I did different with this one though, this is my book of mirrors, is I created it like a traveler's journal. So it has elastic in it like this, that I can take my signature out and then I can lay it flat on my table and work on the different things that I want to work on in these pages. And again, every signature is different. So this is a sketch page. I think it's from my brother's sketchbook. Yeah, this is from my brother's sketchbook. So these little drawings, those are my brother's. So, you know, that's my brother's. So each one of these signatures I can take out and I don't have to fight with. Let me find the middle here again. And I don't have to fight with trying to figure out the book. I just lost a photo album that I had in here. That's my granddaughter. So each one of these signatures now can come out. So even though this one lays a little bit more open than the other, but you can still see it's like, okay, I can't really work on these in the book. So this is heavy duty. This is watercolor paint paper, very heavy duty. I can put all kinds of goodies and stuff on there. And it's a whole signature of just that type of paper. So this is my section for self-growth, and I have mindful soul stuff in here. And this is a friend of mine's handprints. This is another handprint from a friend of mine, and another handprint from a friend of mine. We had a project that we were working on that didn't go the way that we had planned, but that's okay. So then here's some drawings that I did, some practice, and it's just, again, all different kinds of papers, different sizes, nothing like it has to be this particular size. That's one of my brother's drawings. Practicing some lettering. Papers that I've dyed, you know, watercolor painted on them. Look at this, is a letter from my granddaughter for Noni and Poppy. And again, this is a scrap piece of cardstock that I had that was underneath my artwork to protect the table. And I just covered it with all different kinds of stuff because that's what it, made it easy. So my cat has collected and killed so many animals. I have it's gruesome, I know, for some people, but I have like a flying squirrel tail, chipmunk's tail, feathers from I have to keep prizes from my cat's presents to me. I know some people are being like, yeah, that's gross. I don't care. They make me happy because I know he's a good hunter. So again, I can take this signature out and lay it flat and work on it with what I want. So I have, I think there's some sticking here. So I have different stuff in here, different ephemera that I'm going to add in. This is my shadow work page. This is where I work in journaling and drawing about things that I need to work on. So they will just skip that whole one because that's again, this is every other one is this heavy duty paper that I can just demolish and it won't get too messed up. This is romance. I'm going to put a picture of myself and Roy here. Haven't gotten there yet. We're working on it. More little pieces of ephemera. And again, all these, they're just like scrap pieces of paper, pages that I've torn out of a sketchbook, or I've, had a few pages left, and the spiral, took out the spiral, kept the spiral, because I can weave ribbon in and out of this and have this, it's already got a hole punched in it for me. So that's, think outside the box, people. So all different kinds of vellum and black paper. This is coffee filter that I, plain white coffee filters that I got a pack of. And actually what happened is I went from using paper coffee filters to having a copper filter that, I don't have to use every time. I can just dump it out and not waste the paper. And then I took the paper and I turned it into my book. Unused, but still. More vellum paper. And I like this because it has like as writing on it. You can't really read it, but it's cool. So there's all different kinds of paper. I mean, just paper that I've, the kids have colored on, that they were just playing around on, that I tore up and put in here. And again, there's a lot of stuff in here that is just stuff to play with, gives me a lot of, and here's my gratitude section. So this, I can show you the beginning of it, but it just has, like, this is vellum paper. I can cut these out and add them someplace else, or I can leave them in here and write on them. But it's like your ephemera is incorporated into the book. So I can take one of these signatures out, have the papers that I want in here already, the ephemera already in the package, take it and go when we're traveling or whatever, and go just play around with it. You can see that I glued, it's not the prettiest, but I glued fabric down on top just to kind of finish off the back, because it was, ugh, I didn't like it. So I do have another one, but it's underneath my feet, and I am not going to get that right now. So I just wanted to show you guys some of the projects that I have worked on, and kind of encourage you to not allow yourself to be held back by things that you see on the internet, that, oh my gosh, somebody's made this beautiful piece of artwork, or somebody's changed their lives in this amazing way. And you have a lot going for you. And I think what I might do is shift this. So I want to encourage you to step outside of your box and don't allow what you see in social media or in other people's lives around you and think they're so much further ahead of me. I'm stuck. I am lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to create. I don't know what direction I want to take in my life. I've been doing this stuff for everybody else, but I've not had time to really think about who I am and what I want to do. I know when we hit a certain point in our lives, we come to realize that we've been doing for everybody else and not been doing for ourselves. And we try to figure out what it is that we want to do, and we feel like there's nothing. I've been doing for everybody else. You forget your dreams. You forget the things that you wanted to do so long ago, that the vision that you had for your life. And I encourage you to just start small, start with something that maybe you used to like to do, maybe coloring in a coloring book when you were a kid. Start doing something that brings you joy, whatever it may be. It may be something completely unusual or different than what you see out in the world, but it's something that brought you joy as a child. And heck, making mud pies, I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here. Maybe if you enjoyed making mud pies, now you can make pumpkin pies or blueberry pies or whatever, maybe baking is your thing. Just being silly, but I encourage you to break out of your mold. You don't have to continue to do things the way that you've done things. If you do, nothing will change in your life. It's not always easy. Sometimes the one small thing that you start now can recalibrate your entire life, can change everything about what you do moving forward. You may lose your job and think, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. You may end up divorced and single and raising kids, and then your kids have moved out, and you realize, I did what I needed to do to get to this space so that my kids are well fed, well taken care of, but I put myself on the back burner, and now I have to figure out what I want to do, and I feel like I don't know what that is. It may be that you decide you just want to change things up and do something different with your life. This has succeeded in your life. And now you want to go completely in the opposite way. You've worked in corporate and now you want to do something creative and you're not sure how to do that. If you start small and just experiment with a bunch of different things, find the thing that sparks that little bit of joy in you and build on that. It doesn't have to be a massive thing. I started out with just doing some basic coloring in coloring book and moved on to painting abstract paintings and painting just wild crazy stuff on my notebooks and stuff. Not with any direction in mind, just to get the juices flowing. So do something that get those juices flowing for you. Something that can enables you to move at least a little bit in the direction that you want to be moving in. That's all I'm asking. Just step outside your box. Remember, life is an adventure. Live life adventurously.